Sicily has a savage tradition known as the claiming, rooted in old honor codes and mafia control. It demands the groom steal his bride away at midnight, fighting through her family's guards to prove his power and right to her. I waited 3 years for Dominic. At last, he and his men slipped into my courtyard. I was ready to run to him until I heard his hushed order.
Grab Bianca in the chaos. She's fragile. If she's sold off to the Don of the Valentino family to settle the debt, she won't survive the night. As for Elena, she'll fight like hell. She'll keep herself safe.
The men hesitated.
Dominic, you and Elena are already married.
If she finds out, she'll burn this place to the ground.
Let her. It's dark enough. In case of mistaken identity during the claiming will be easy to explain. I'll calm her down later.
He paused, his voice turning icy.
Besides, the marriage license she signed was a forgery. I promised Bianca a safe life in Palermo. She's my priority.
I heard every word from behind the door. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just slipped back into the room. They'd expected me to fight, to hurt anyone who tried to take me. Instead, I silently climbed onto the back of the man who'd broken into my chamber and became his bride. Elena, my contact at the registry checked. You aren't actually Dominic's legal wife. Something inside my chest shattered. I'd lived as Dominic's wife for 5 years. All that time, the Russo family never accepted me. His mother never used my name, only ever referring to me as that girl. At family galas, I was always seated at the farthest table. In official portraits, I was placed at the edge so I could be easily cropped out. Dominic said his mother wouldn't let up until I broke, so he sent me back to the Moretti estate. He promised he'd follow our traditions and complete the formal claiming ritual to bring me back as his Donna. Then the Russo family would have no choice but to accept me. I waited. For 3 years I'd held my tongue, longing for this night, but he'd come for another woman. He'd kept me deceived for years with a forged marriage license, all to hide the truth. The one he truly meant to claim was my half-sister, Bianca. I stared at my reflection. My face was empty. Shouts exploded in the courtyard. The ritual had begun. Laughter rang out, boots thudded against stone, and guards put on a show of resisting. Ritual torches painted half the sky red. All the excitement was for them. The celebration was for Bianca. The other group of men had come from the Valentino family. They had originally come for Bianca. By the rules of the ritual, if a woman didn't want to be taken, she could hide and send them away empty-handed. But Bianca didn't hide. She waited in her room to be taken. And the man she waited for was my husband. The room I was in wasn't mine. It was Bianca's. That afternoon, my stepmother pulled me aside. For once, her voice was gentle.
Elena, stay in Bianca's room tonight. Yours is too far back, too quiet. They'll never find you. The men coming for Bianca are savages. You've always been tough. You can handle the rough play. Bianca is fragile. If she gets caught in the crossfire, it'll be a disaster.
I said nothing. I knew exactly what she meant. By the rules of the claiming, the groom's men would storm in. The woman was expected to fight and struggle. It was called the gauntlet. The harder she fought, the more valuable she was considered. The groom had to prove he could take her by force. Those punches and shoves were real. My stepmother studied my face, testing me.
Besides, Dominic has never been to the Moretti estate at night. The front room? He'll find you faster.
Back then, I'd only wanted to make things easier for Dominic. I agreed, even texted him my room location. But they'd been planning this switch all along.
A roar of celebration erupted outside.
We got her! The bride is ours!
Laughter and cheering rang out, followed by the sharp crack of celebratory gunfire. I listened but didn't move. I knew exactly who they'd taken. I could picture Dominic carrying Bianca through the crowd, his men shielding them as guests hurled objects and blocked their path. Bianca would hide her face against his back, pretending to struggle. How perfect. I lowered my gaze. Moments later, my door was kicked in. A group of men flooded into the dark room, their footsteps heavy and chaotic. Someone seized my arm. Hands began shoving and striking me. I felt fists slam into my shoulders and back. This was the gauntlet. The harder the beating, the more the family valued the bride. I didn't flinch or resist. I let them yank me from my chair and drag me towards the door. At first it felt like a formality, but the violence quickly turned ugly. Someone slammed my arm against the stone wall. Fists began hammering my ribs with real, cruel force. This was intentional. The pain was excruciating, but I didn't make a sound.
I should have known you were tough, Elena.
I finally understood what my stepmother had meant by calling me tough. Just when I thought it would never end, someone stepped in to shield me.
Enough!
It was a stranger's voice, sharp with fury. He blocked the others, shoving the attackers back with his arms.
That's the way it works. The harder we hit, the more she's worth. What rule?
His voice dropped to a dangerous growl.
This isn't your wife! If someone was beating your woman like a dog, would you just stand there and watch?
The room went silent. He glanced back at me. In the shadows, I could only make out the sharp line of his jaw. Then he bent down and hoisted me onto his back.
Who is he? He's taking this ritual way too seriously.
He carried me out in long, steady strides. People chased after us, throwing things and blocking the way, but his grip on my legs never wavered. When he finally carried me out of my private courtyard, he paused to catch his breath. In the distance, the faint glow of ritual torches moved. That was the other group. Through the bushes, I heard their laughter. Dominic was at the front, sweat-soaked but wearing a triumphant smile. Bianca was on his back, her arms wrapped tight around his neck. His men were cheering.
Kiss her! Kiss her!
I lay silent on the stranger's back as they drew near. Torchlight flickered across my face. Dominic's eyes flicked over me and Litui the Bemormlini for a split second. Then his gaze moved on, turning back to his men as he joked and laughed. He didn't recognize me. Bianca whispered something in his ear, and he leaned in with a soft smile. I suddenly thought back to 3 years ago, when I'd returned to the Moretti estate to visit my father and stayed for a while. The first time Dominic came to find me there, he'd worn that exact same smile. That day, my father's men put him to the test. They blocked him at the gates and roughed him up, just to see if a Russo truly cared for a Moretti girl. He'd shown up at my door with a split lip and bruised ribs. He was a spoiled Russo heir who'd never been hurt before, yet he'd taken a beating from my father's men, just for me. He always acted like it was nothing, but I knew the truth. My father's men didn't go easy on outsiders. Another time, it poured rain. He showed up soaked to the bone, his shirt torn, but the pastries tucked inside his jacket were still dry. I called him an idiot for coming out in weather like that.
Didn't want you to wait too long.
I held those pastries, staring at the cut on his cheek, and thought, this is the man I'll spend my life with. But now he carried Bianca with that exact same smile.
Come on, Bianca.
My vision blurred for a second, then sharpened again.
Not gonna drop me, are you?
No, never.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Are you sure?
Yes.
When did it all start to change?
Probably 3 years ago, when my father died. I felt completely hollow inside.
I'll handle it.
Dominic canceled everything to stay at the Moretti estate with me for 2 weeks.
Non salciare.
The day he had to leave, he took my hand and spoke softly.
Elena, you just got through the funeral and you look awful. If my mother sees you like this, she'll start on you again. I don't want you putting up with that. Just stay here at the estate and rest. You've always wanted to take over the family business, right? I'll go back and smooth things over at home, then come get you.
I looked at him and nodded. I was truly exhausted from the constant fighting with his mother. Back then, I believed he was looking out for me, that he didn't want me to go back and face those cold stares. Only later did I realize distance doesn't create beauty. It just makes it easier for him to love someone else. Last year, when Mrs. Russo turned 60, Dominic came to bring me back. The moment I stepped inside, I saw my stepsister Bianca. She was supposed to be in Palermo for work, but there she was in the living room, arranging fruit, her movements smooth and familiar. So, she lived here now. Dominic paused while taking off his shoes and explained,
Bianca's workplace is near our house. She's staying here temporarily.
There wasn't a trace of guilt in his voice, and I didn't push for more. My stepmother had married into the Moretti family long after Bianca and I were grown. We'd never been close. Over the years, we'd only seen each other during holidays. I couldn't quite put into words how I felt about her staying there.
Hey, sis. Don't worry, I'm just crashing here for a bit. I'll move out once I find a place.
I nodded, but said nothing. Back then, I never could have imagined. For 3 years, I waited alone in the empty Moretti estate, and all that time, my little sister had been working in the Russo house. Now, watching Bianca on Dominic's back, it all suddenly clicked. I hadn't been waiting for him to bring me home at all. I'd been waiting for my heart to die. Bianca's voice drifted closer on the wind.
What about Elena? If she finds out, she'll lose it.
She's all bark and no bite. She'll get over it after throwing a fit.
He paused, his voice lowering.
It's pitch black during the claiming. I just made a mistake.
She'll feel sorry for me before she even gets angry. When she finds out, I'll just smooth it over.
Bianca laughed softly. My knuckles whitened. One of his men spoke up suddenly.
Kappa, what if someone else claimed Elena?
The group fell quiet. Then Dominic laughed.
You think she'd let anyone take her without a fight? With that temper of hers, she'll tear the place apart tonight. True. No way Elena goes quietly. Feel sorry for that poor bastard. Wonder what he looks like now.
The laughter swelled. I looked down. Let's go. He must have heard everything. Heard them laughing about me. Heard how they thought I'd tear the roof off. But he said nothing. He just kept walking.